Whenever an influencer starts up their own brand, it always ends up being a little bit messy. There's a lot of things that can go wrong while creating a new brand, and sometimes influencers try to cut corners and don't do the proper research to make sure everything checks out. We recently saw this happen with Jaclyn Hill and her brand Koze. When Jaclyn launched Koze, she thought that was going to be her next big thing. She had a lot of hope for what the brand could be, but things quickly went downhill for her. When it came out that she had stolen the name from another creator, people weren't having it. Jaclyn refused to address the situation, she refused to change the name, and Kaylin was forced to close down and rebrand. She knew that if she kept the name Koze, Jaclyn's Koze would not only make her brand impossible to find online, but it would also make it look like Kaylin was wearing Jaclyn's Koze. People were more likely to associate the name Koze with Jaclyn, and even though it was pronounced differently, it was still a horrible thing for Kaylin's brand. Jaclyn spent months deleting comments about Kaylyn's Koze, ignoring the backlash, until she was also forced to shut down. People didn't want to support a brand that was stolen from another creator, and that contributed to the downfall of Jaclyn's Koze. Well, it looks like we may have another Koze situation on our hands. Laura Lee is getting called out by a smaller brand owner for allegedly copying her brand logo. It's a mess, so let's get into it. Like most influencers, Laura Lee also decided to take advantage of her audience that she grew on YouTube and create her own brand. Laura has her own makeup brand called Laura Lee Los Angeles, and she had her own clothing brand. In 2020, Laura Lee launched her own clothing boutique called Nudie Patootie, and she was really excited about her new venture. Laura has always done fashion content on her channel, so the move to making her own clothing brand actually made a lot of sense. But in 2022, Laura announced that Nudie Patootie was actually coming to an end. She said that she had to change her name of her clothing line from Nudie Patootie to Minim LA due to a copyright issue with another brand.
Nudie Patootie is officially gone forever, and I am devastated. As you guys know, in 2020, around September, we launched our Nudie Patootie clothing boutique, and earlier this year, we took it down completely without much of an explanation. Why did we change the name of our branding? Well, we did not change the name of our branding because we wanted to. We changed the name of our branding due to trademarking issues.
She said that this brand had reached out to her, told her that she couldn't use the name because it had a word in it that that brand was using, and at first, Laura thought that she was fine. Laura had filed ownership of the trademark. It was only days away from passing, so she thought she was good. That's until she realized this other brand's lawyer actually flagged the trademark, and that put a stop to everything.
Another brand contacted us and said, you can't name your brand that because trademarking issues. We have a brand using one of the words in your branding and our brand, and we just can't have that. We really didn't have a choice. Now, whenever this was brought to my attention, I said, excuse me, our brand is trademarked. We own the trademark to Nudie Patootie. What happened was we almost owned the trademark to Nudie Patootie for the boutique, but our trademark was within days of passing through, and their lawyers flagged. It has been quite the tumultuous process changing everything because we had to get a new website. We had to find a new name for our brand, which I'm about to reveal. I mean, you're probably like, what's that shirt you're wearing there? We had to get rid of all of our shipping supplies, all of our packaging, flipped us upside down on our head, and like, we're a small business, so this was very, very difficult for us.
And that's how Minim LA came to be. She was now selling more minimalistic clothing, keeping on brand with the store name, and she was excited for what was to come. A lot of her fans said that they felt like this rebrand was more grown up and was better suited to Laura's audience. Well, it looks like Laura is running into the exact same issue again. A business owner of a swimwear brand posted a TikTok calling out Laura's brand for ripping off her name and logo.
There's nothing more disappointing than pouring your heart, soul, and bank account into a business only to have a massive US influencer completely steal your branding. Like, you cannot tell me that this is not the same thing. Like, are you kidding? That's mine. That's this other brand's. Working in already a really oversaturated market, I really pride myself on being original and coming up with my own ideas and things like that. So it's just really upsetting to see, especially this is an influencer that's been cancelled multiple times. So I don't even know how she keeps just like popping back up. It's a sad day for a small business owner.
And if you compare these logos side by side, they are very similar. I know the font isn't anything unique, but when you take into consideration the font, the stacking of the letters at the end, the placement of the words, and the similar name, if you saw these two logos side by side, you would probably assume that they were from the same brand. That's a huge issue for the brand that had the logo first. This is really similar to the Koze situation. A smaller business owner has the name and logo first, a bigger influencer comes in, takes the name, copies the logo, and then that brand name is now associated with the bigger influencer. That can absolutely destroy a small brand, especially if they don't have the resources to fight it. With Kaylin and Koze, she consulted a lawyer, realized how long the legal process would be, how draining it could be, and how much money it could cost, and she decided to just rebrand. It's unfortunate, but Jacqueline was ignoring the issue, and she didn't really seem to care that she just destroyed another influencer's brand. It looks like this brand owner might be in a similar position as Kaylin. Someone commented on her video asking if she could pursue legal action, and she responded, "Honestly unsure of how any of this works. As a small business, I probably don't have the resources to do anything about it." It sounds like Minima was launched exactly a year before Laura's Minim LA. She replied to a comment and said, "I launched the company in 2021. She rebranded in 2022. Pretty straightforward to me." Now, the Minima owner is very active on TikTok and shows a lot of the behind the scenes of owning a business, and it's clear that she's invested a lot into this. She revealed in an earlier TikTok that she's invested around $90,000 into her business.
Me personally, when I started Minima, I invested $50,000, which I don't think you probably didn't have to spend $50,000. But I did, and I've invested another $40,000. And what product-based business you realistically could start with $1,000? Like, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news. You could probably start a service-based business with $1,000, sure, because most of that is generally based off your time. But product-based, generally there's minimum order quantities and things like that you have to work with. If you want an ethical and sustainable factory, there is no way you could do that with $1,000. I have no idea where she got that from.
So you guys can see why trademark issues like this are such a huge deal. That's a lot of money to invest just to be buried by another brand. But there are some people in the comments who think the brand logo is just way too basic to really be calling it an exact copy. One person said, "I say this with peace and love. Your branding is minimalistic and minimal is a trend at the moment. Your logo is not unique. Your logo is definitely much better, but no, those are not the same thing. Yours is Minima as one word, and theirs is understood to be Minim in LA. I think it's all going to come down to whether or not the owner of Minima trademarked her logo. If she has a trademark, she could definitely flag Laura's because it is very similar." Yeah, the name is also similar, but the owner said that she's most concerned about the logo with the stacking at the end because it makes it look like the exact same brand. A lot of people have been going over to Laura's Minim LA TikTok and leaving comments about the situation, writing, "Nothing is original from you. You can imitate, but you'll never be as good as the original. Are you going to pretend like you didn't steal the logo and brand name?" And instead of addressing the situation, Laura has chosen to delete all the comments and also turn her commenting off. So it looks like she may be taking the Jaclyn Hill approach of ignoring and hoping it all goes away. We don't know what trademarks have been filed. We don't know if Laura had any idea that this brand even existed when she was making her logo. We just don't know. With Koze, we knew that Kaylin had reached out to Jaclyn before she officially launched, and Jaclyn chose to ignore her and continue using the name Koze. Hopefully Laura just had no idea, and maybe they can talk and come to some kind of agreement to make their brand's identity different. I know it's a huge effort to go back in and hire someone to rebrand a logo for you, but I would think Laura wouldn't even want her logo to be that close to someone else's. Even though she's the bigger influencer with more reach, it would still benefit her to have a different logo. Not only will viewers have more respect for Laura if she decided to go back in and change it and not step all over a smaller business, but it gives her a reason to go back to the drawing board and make something even better. The logo is very basic, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It's on brand with the brand name, but I'm sure she could hire like a logo designer and come up with something amazing. The last time that she ran into this issue with the Nudie Patootie brand and having to rebrand that, everyone saw it as a good thing and actually loved the rebrand. So let's hope that she sees this hurdle the same way and does the right thing, especially if it can be proven that Minima had the logo first. Anyways, guys, let me know what you think about everything down below, and I'll see you next time.